Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffery Patterson and the Theater of the Mind.
I don't feel guilty. I don't feel guilty at all. I'm sitting here in this cell, clapped in irons, waiting to be hanged in the morning. I don't care about that. I don't care about that neither. You see, it all started in 1781. I'd signed on to a square rigger that was bound for the New World. Now the crew had told me on their last voyage they ran into the doldrums. Now the doldrums is a place out in the middle of the sea where there ain't no wind. The sea looks like it's glass as long as you can see it. The sails hang like wilted leather from the yard arms, and it's so hot you can hardly breathe. It's not a large area, you see, but you can't sail out of it. On the day we're supposed to take sail, I hear the sounds of horse hoofs on the dock. 30 of them. 30 of the most gorgeous animals you've ever seen. I ran straight away to the captain and asked if I could be in charge. He said, "Right." So we loaded them off the dock onto the ship, and we took them down into the hold and put them in their stalls. Wish you could have been there. They were so beautiful. Their eyes was glowing, their coats was shining. Well, I got them down into their stalls, taking care of all of them, and we set sail that day. I spent all my time down in the hold, you see. I'd brush them down and talk to them. I'd rub their legs, you see, because horses was made to run, and if they can't run, they get awfully jittery. So every day when I changed their hay and feed them their feed and all, I'd rub their legs down just to make them more comfy, you see. Well, about 6 weeks out, we ran into a ferocious storm. The seas started their whitecaps, and our ship was being tossed from side to side. Me horses were so afraid. I went to each one of them, talked to them, rubbed them down. You know, it'd be okay, guys, I'm here with you. And I was there. I was with them the whole time. It got to where I actually sang them some songs. They was old baldy songs, I hate to say, but that I'd learned in the taverns, but they didn't listen to the words. They just liked the tunes. And after hearing me songs, they all calmed down after that. They knew as long as I was there, they would be okay. We came so close together. I got to know them all personally. I named them all. We had Brownie and Blackie, Yard Arm, Master Duke. I used to steal sugar out the galley to give to them. There was this little brown and white pinto. Used to pick the sugar right out of me pocket, he did. I have to admit that maybe I was a little partial to a couple of them. There was this beautiful mare that I named Jessica. She had this beautiful blaze down the front of her face, and every time I would come near, she'd shake her head at me. And there was another one that I named I. Very noble gentleman. Every time I would talk to him, he'd look me straight in the eye. And he'd call me during the day, too. He'd go, "Oh." I say, "Calm down now, I. I'm right here. I'm right here. Everything will be fine." Well, about 8 weeks out on our voyage, we ran into the doldrums. The captain called for me to come up on deck. When I arrived, he said, "We're in the doldrums. It's time to bring you horses." We're so excited. They've been in those holes for so long. So we made 2 lines of them, hooked them together with ropes, and brought them up on the deck. 15 and 15, most beautiful lines. I put I at the lead of one and Jessica at the other. We rigged up a crane and lowered it over the side of the boat, and one by one, we lowered me beauties down into the water. Oh, they were so happy to be up on deck. They were breathing, and their eyes were bright. Oh, they were so excited to be able to do their work that they were brought for. Once we got them all loaded down into the ocean, and the strings together, we tied them to the front of the boat. The captain ordered me and the first mate out into the longboat to ride up ahead. We lowered the longboat, paddled out. Once we got out in front of the ship, I called to me beauties. "Aye, me noble gentlemen. Ah, me lovely beauty Jessica. This way!" They started to trot in the water. Ah, they were holding their heads high, their ears were erect. I think they were enjoying the cool water. As they all started pulling together, the great ship began to move. We were getting out of the doldrums. They swam all afternoon, and into the night I lit a lantern and held it up so they could see me, and they continued to swim strong. "Oh, that a boy, aye. That's my beauty, Jessie." When morning came, I could tell they were getting tired, probably a little thirsty too. I was going to turn to the first mate and ask if we could get them some water, but there was a shout from the ship. Oh, the sails were starting to billow. We were almost out of the doldrums. We were ordered to come back to the ship. So we paddled the longboat back to the ship, took our crane and brought it up. As soon as I got on the ship, the captain said, "Good job, lad." Right there in front of the whole crew, he did. I said, "Thank you, sir, but it was me horses done all the work." All of a sudden, the men started scrambling around, trying to get the sails into the wind, and no one was paying any attention to me horses. I swing over the crane to start trying to lift them up, and the captain said, "Cut the lines! We've got time to make up!" The sergeant of arms picks up the hatchet and cuts the lines to me horses. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Everyone was running, but no one was paying any attention to the horses. We had caught the wind now and were moving forward. I ran up and screamed at the captain. First mate pushed me down, ordered me to jump ship. Sergeant of arms pulls out his gun and points it at me and starts counting. I couldn't believe it. I got up and ran back to the stern of the ship. I could see me beauties. The sea was starting to white cap again. At the top of a wave, I would see one and they would fall back into the trough. At the crest of another wave, they were gone in a trough. Spent the rest of that day staring out into the empty sea. And then there at the crest of a wave, I see me horse. It's I. He's still swimming strong. He can't catch us, but he's still giving it his entire heart. Oh, I. And then he was gone. When night fell, I walked over and picked up the hatchet used to cut the ropes to me horses. I started making my way up to the captain's quarters. I opened the door and peered in. It was unheard of for a common seaman to go into the captain's quarters. I opened the door and one of them go, "Here now, what is this?" Quickly walked through the room and I took the hatchet and I split the captain's head from his chin down all the way. I made a stab at the sergeant of arms, almost took his head off, and then I buried it in the first mate's chest. So here I sit, sitting here in this cell, clapped in irons, waiting to get hanged in the morning. I don't care. I've not slept a single night. Not because of what I did, but because I can still hear me beauties calling for me over the waves. Ooh.